I just dug out this set of lathe tools that I got when I bought my second-hand Chinese lathe. I never used these, and for a long time they have been hiding on a shelf. You see, I mostly used high-speed steel and some brazed-on carbide in my first years as a YouTube wannabe machinist. Besides, most of these inserts were either broken or missing. I guess back then carbide insert tooling wasn't really my thing. Although I must say that lately I've been using these triangular shaped tool bits that also came with my lathe quite a bit, and I like them, although they are a bit oddly shaped. There's a right hand, a semi-right hand, a left hand, a semi-left hand, and a tool bit that can go both ways. Like I said, I kinda like them. Probably because I still suck at grinding high-speed tool bits and keep burning them up because I run the lathe too fast. Anyway, a while back I bought this quick change tool post. Haven't used it yet, but I was thinking that these 12mm tool bits would fit very nicely in this quick change tool post. These will also fit, but I always thought that these inserts were rather big. My lathe doesn't have anything near enough power to use half of this cutting edge. These are also relatively expensive. They cost about twice as much as a box full of CCMT inserts. They might have one more cutting corner, but replacing an insert is almost as quick as flipping it over. Also, you cannot get any blue Nano inserts for these holders. Not sure yet if that is important, but so far all the blue Nano testing that I've done has been positive. Now, I've done a bit of investigating, meaning I've done some googling, and I think this is a bit of a weird set. For example, there are at least 1, 2, 3 right hand tool bits. That's a bit much if you ask me. There is also no boring bar, and then there is this pointy thing that doesn't really know if it is a left or a right hand tool. I guess it can do both. It might also be usable for chamfering, but I don't like this angle, and when the hole is too small, it will probably start to rub the tool bit over here, but I guess I can always grind a bit off. For these 4 tool bits, I know what kind of inserts they take, and for these 2 I actually already have some inserts. They use the same ones as my small boring bars, CCMT 0602. For these 2 I ordered some of the cheapest inserts I could find. They are DCMT 0704, and the set I bought only cost me €3.50, and that's for 10 inserts. Not sure if I will ever use them, but you never know. They might work wonders in tight corners. For this one I also tried to find some new inserts, but was unsuccessful. When I enter this number here in eBay, I get some car parts, and basically it's the same with these 2 tools. This one seems to be a threading tool, probably old school. not really sure, never saw it before. And this here, that's a grooving tool, or maybe a parting of tool, not really sure. Grooving, I think. Yeah, probably grooving. It would have been interesting to try this, as I don't have such a tool bit. This one I don't really need, because I already have a 12mm external threading tool that is probably superior to this one. Now this is not really a very old set. My lathe is 10 years old, and this was most likely bought at the same time. And it amazes me that already 3 out of 7, or maybe I should say 3 out of 5, as these use basically the same tool bits, are already obsolete. And this was not a cheap set, at least not for a hobbyist. The sticker here says €129, but knowing these came from HBM, just like the lathe, these were most likely on a perpetual sale. But even if they sold for €80, that would still be a lot of money compared to today's prices. Anyway, I thought this was a good example of how quickly things change all the time. Or maybe it's just these days, not sure. I actually forgot that I still had these, till I thought about buying a tool bed for these small CCMT inserts, so I could also use them for normal turning instead of only boring. It's kind of funny that I already had 2 tool bits that will fit these inserts, and I actually already had them for more than 3 years. I guess the more stuff you collect over the years, the more you forget about. At some point it's probably going to be a problem. Anyway, it wouldn't have mattered if I had forgotten about these. I actually already have a new set of 12mm tool bits from Banggood that I kinda need to show you guys, because that's how this works. They give me stuff so I can show you stuff, then they might sell more stuff, and I might actually earn some money through the affiliated links from the stuff you guys buy, and if I'm lucky I can buy even more stuff to play with. All kinds of stuff that I will eventually forget about, but hey, at least I won't have been bored. Well, let me unpack these so we can have a better look. Whoa! These are still heavily perfumed plastic bags. Oh, I imagine this is how a overcrowded German cat house filled with elderly ladies drinking schnapps smells like. Too much. I would prefer some toxic plasticizers. I'll throw these away quickly because they're horrible. So this is what I got. A bit difficult to film. Black tools on a black background. So what we got here is a right hand tool, a left hand tool, and another one of those tools that really doesn't know what it is and can go both ways, just like some people. And there is a nice 12mm boring bar, very similar to the one I already have, but this one uses a bigger size insert and has a very usable ruler. I do think that these boring bars are pretty good. I actually tested a set of these a few years back and I'm still using them all the time. But I'm not sure if I'm going to spend a tool holder on this. I've already made a nice and sturdy boring bar holder for my lathe, so I might have better use for the tool holders that I have. But who knows, I might end up buying more tool holders, or maybe even make some myself if I ever have a milling machine. Now I'm going to quickly install an insert in all of these pockets to see if they fit correctly. Installed and checked, and it all looks good. They fit snugly into the pocket, and there's no air gap behind the insert. This tool bit has some sharp corners and needs some deburring, filing, but it shouldn't be an issue. There was no blistering in the coating inside the insert pocket, like I saw when I reviewed some of these boring bars. If there would have been some blistering in the paint, it would probably easily scrape off. It did the last time, but you really don't want to have any blistering or uneven surfaces behind the insert. Now Banggood doesn't really like it when you talk about prices. They say this in the review rules on their website. Apparently the prices change all the time and are different all over the world. But I guess giving you guys a bit of information shouldn't really hurt anyone. Well, it might actually hurt your wallet, but that could be good for me, as the affiliate earnings have been close to zero over the past few weeks. When Banggood sent me this set, it cost $25.74, and that's the price listed in my orders list on the Banggood website. At the moment when I check this product page, and I just did, the price I see is €22.94, and that's probably about the same as it was before in dollars. But now at the moment there's a 15% off coupon, but there appears to be a better deal. The same product plus a box full of inserts can be ordered from the UK or the USA for little more than $21, and there's the same 15% off coupon. So that might be a good deal, especially when you consider that the old box with tool bits cost €129 about 10 years ago. Although it is a bit strange that the Banggood website shows me one product in dollars and the other one in euros. So don't hold me on these numbers if they are different in your country. I will put links to both of these products in the description below the video. And also, for your information, there is also a coupon for lots of inserts, also 15% off. So if you need some, this might be the time. I guess there is not much more I can show or tell about these tool bits. My experience with Banggood turning tool so far has been mostly satisfying, and I'm sure these will work fine as well. Although I'm not talking about their inserts, because I had some really shitty ones. I chose these tools because now I can use the same size CCMT inserts on my Chinese lathe, and it's probably a good idea to standardize on a certain type of tool bit, unless you can get them for free, of course. Then you can try something else for fun and make a YouTube video. Anyway, now I can also try out these blue Nano inserts on my Chinese lathe. You will probably see these tool bits again when I do my quick change tool post review video, but for that I'm still waiting for some shorter bolts. These are rather long and are probably in the way of my camera shots. I guess I could have shortened them by hand, but a box full of these only cost €4, so I'm not going to bother with that. Unfortunately, they were out of stock, so I guess I will have to wait a little longer. That's no problem. I'm in no rush, and I prefer to play with my old lathe anyway. Besides, I don't get that much lathe time with all this YouTubing. Well, I guess that's it for me. To be continued. Not one bit of machining in this video. Just a pretty useless, lazy and easy to make video. So to compensate for that, you can now watch at an interrupted facing cut of some reasonably hard scraptonium with a CCMT blue nano insert using that new bi-directional tool bit and my new Dixon quick change tool post. Let's see, I'm going to run the lathe at 970 RPM. Let's give this blue nano insert something to do. Here we go. Wait, I need to find my glasses first. Alright, here we go. Maybe I should get some lubricant, so that should give the insert a chance to survive. Tool needs to be a little higher. Let's see. Loosen it up. The camera is really in the way. A little higher. Okay. Maybe I should lock the carriage in place, because the interrupted cut might move the carriage backwards. Where's my tool? Always gone when you need it. Alright, I just locked the carriage in place. So now I have to move the compound slide to dial in a cut. That might be a bit much. Definitely too much. I kind of feel I owe you guys a bit of an explanation after leaving some vague comments regarding to my health and not making videos for a while. Now, I'm not the biggest sharer of personal bullshit. People do that way too much, if you ask me. But in this case, it is a bit relatable to the kind of stuff I do on this channel. So for the past 6 or 7 weeks, I have been dealing with an eyesight issue, and it has been annoying as fuck, to put it mildly. About 8 weeks ago, I was trying to weld together some rust, and I was having a hard time with the lighting. Lots of glare from the window inside my welding helmet. So eventually I took it off and picked up my old handheld welding shield. I held it about halfway in front of my face and looked with my left eye at the work to point the torch in the right direction. Then when I started welding, I wasn't quick enough with the shield, so for a moment I looked into the arc and my left eye started to hurt for a moment. It wasn't too bad, so I finished the welding job and went about my day. Now a few days passed and I was working behind the computer with a headache, thinking I might finally need some glasses. And then I noticed that the center of my left eye was totally blurry. There was a small but pronounced circle on the exact spot where the eyeball focuses. Very annoying, and knowing this, it seemed to make the problem even worse, because you start to notice it all the time. Before it was just a headache. Now I started noticing light sensitivity, especially sunlight. I started to misjudge depth, and it was rather unpleasant when driving a car. I was constantly closing my left eye or putting my hand over it. So in the end I basically had a constant headache the whole day, especially when I had to focus a lot up close. So I slept a lot, and my life basically ground to a halt. And then after almost a month of this bullshit, I got problems with my intestine. I guess the wrong kind of food, not enough exercise, the hot weather, and not drinking enough stopped things from moving. And I'll tell you that eyesight problem was pretty annoying, but if you can't take a decent dump now and again, you got a serious problem. And I will spare you the details. Anyway, it took a long time, but eventually my eyesight has returned, and the other problem also has moved on. So I guess I'm back in business. But I must say that this eye problem that I had me worried for a while. I guess you don't know what you got till something goes wrong. I will sure take better care next time. But don't worry, I'm not going to be a safety Nazi or some sort of safety evangelist. Too much of those around here, if you ask me. But I do know that I kinda dodged the bullet. Although, to be honest, I'm still not 100% sure if the problem was caused by the welding job. But I do remember it hurt more than other times I accidentally looked into the welding arc. And therefore I suspect I got hit with a bit of weld spatter from all that rust. But who knows, maybe it was something else altogether. I don't know. I guess I'll never know. So, that's enough for now. I think I gave that insert a serious beating as far as possible on my little Chinese lathe. And I got all kinds of nice gold colored chips. I think the tool post held up okay. Well, let's check out the insert, see how the pointy bit held up. On the camera screen it looks like there's already a very small piece missing. So that's a failure for the blue Nano insert. And well, that's the first time they let me down. Although I must say I was pushing them relatively hard. And it was still cutting. It didn't feel like the pointy bit was already broken. Alright, I'm going to quit for today.